Storing fruit outside the refrigerator means that you've got more space in your small fridge for other more critical foods. But how do you do it when you're used to storing all your fruits in a fridge? There are a few tips to help with that. Hi, I'm Nico Waters, and welcome to the Boat Galley Podcast. I'm sharing some specifics about how to successfully store fruit outside of your refrigerator. Today's episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by MantisMarine.com, maker of the Mantis Anchor, now available in models with and without a roll bar. Proven to set reliably in the most challenging bottoms, the Mantis Anchor digs like no other, making anchoring safer and boating more enjoyable. Mantis Marine brings to market practical, durable, and affordable marine products, including anchoring gear, scuba diving accessories, a rechargeable waterproof headlamp for hands-free lighting, and solar charging nav lights for your dinghy. Visit MantisMarine.com and see for yourself. Well, spoiler alert, storing fruit on your anchor is not really a great way to keep room in your refrigerator. For one thing, it would be really hard to access it. And for another, I bet the fish would like that fruit just fine. But seriously, how do you store fruit outside of your refrigerator? Because let's face it, even if you have a fridge on the boat, it's probably a lot smaller than one that you had in a house. The first step is selecting the right fruit. Generally, if you buy fruit that's never been refrigerated, that will help with keeping it outside of the refrigerator. A lot of grocery stores actually have substantial selections of non-refrigerated fruit, although the level of air conditioning sometimes in American grocery stores means that even not refrigerated fruit really has been refrigerated. The best place to find never refrigerated fruit is at local fruit shops and farmers markets, because of course farmers markets, if they're outside, that's not refrigerated or air conditioned at all. The second thing to do is to be really, really picky. You want to pick over individual items and don't accept any fruits that are bruised, rotten, overripe, soft, or moldy. And if you see swarms of fruit flies, that's a big no-no, because that's a sign that the fruit is beginning to spoil. Another tip is don't buy too much. If you buy more than you can comfortably fit in the storage areas that you have, your fruit will get bruised as you try to kind of cram the extra bit in, and you want to allow extra room for padding and air circulation. And on this same note about padding, you want to transport the fruit gently. If you're carrying it in a backpack, bring along some towels to pad the fruit and don't cram it in. If you're going by taxi or Uber, make sure nothing will fall on it and that the fruits won't roll around, because squashed or bruised fruit won't last long. Maybe that's a bonus because it just means you have to eat it faster. The second thing you need to do is to wash your fruit before storing it. Some people prefer not to wash the fruit until they're ready to use it, and I think it probably depends on where you bought it. But Carolyn likes to rinse it in a mild bleach solution, and really what this seems to do is to make sure that any bugs are removed. And as you rinse the fruit, you really, really go over it, particularly with super small fruit like grapes and strawberries, and any that are bad get thrown away immediately, and the ones that are fully ripe but still edible are set aside for the next meal or the next snack. And after washing, you want to lay that fruit out to dry, preferably not in direct sunlight, and make sure they're fully dry. You may have to turn them over a bit to make sure that all pieces get totally dry, because you don't want to store them wet. So those are the two things about fruit. And then what does the storage bit looks like? Because refrigeration is pretty easy. You put the fruit in and away you go. But if you're storing your fruit outside of the refrigerator, you need to think about the first thing is that the storage areas need to be well ventilated and dry. The bins need to be something that can be easily washed. Plastic works the best because you can use bleach on it, or you can use a strong vinegar solution. You can leave it out in the sun to dry quickly and it won't go bad. Wire baskets and gear hammocks, those can cause pressure points that will bruise. So if you use those, you need to pad them pretty well. And additionally, those bins and any other storage containers need to be located where you can see into them to check on the fruit daily. If you see something that's bruised, put it on the dinner or the snack menu. Anything that you missed in yesterday's check that's now rotting or molded needs to be thrown out immediately, and the container wiped out with bleach. And if you ever see fruit flies, that means something has gone bad, and keep searching until you find it. Neither Carolyn nor I store non-refrigerated produce of any sort in any plastic bags. And I haven't had any luck, and neither has Carolyn, with the green bags. But there are people who swear by them. So if you've got some on hand and you want to try them, maybe your luck is going to be better than either of ours. If you look at the blog post that's associated with this podcast, you'll see some specific information about specific fruits that Carolyn has had personal experience with storing these. She's got information about citrus fruits and bananas, avocados, mangoes, apples, pineapples, strawberries, and grapes. So just to recap, you want to be picky about what fruit you buy. You want to be careful about how much fruit you buy and how you transport it. If you wash it before you store it, can help keep bugs away and remove bugs off of it. You definitely want to make sure that that fruit is totally dry before you store it, even in the refrigerator. And then as far as the storage areas go, they need to be well ventilated and dry. You want to have them in containers that can be easily washed and in a place that you can see into them to check on the fruit absolutely daily. That's it. I can't wait to share an Anchorage with you when maybe we've got new tips about storing fruit outside of the refrigerator because we've got the fridge full of other things other than fruit. And maybe we get to share our bounty with each other as we toast to our good fortune at being able to live this incredible lifestyle. Thank you so much for listening to the Boat Galley podcast. We love hearing from our listeners. We love it when you share us with your friends. We love it when you leave us a 5-star review in your favorite podcast app. Have the most spectacular week.